Good evening, the three people that are in so far. Just let me know if the audio is fine. Cheers, matey, thank you. Be with you in a minute, guys, to chat. I don't think I'm actually... I know that people might be coming in and thinking, oh, we're going to play this game. I'm actually only logging on just to have like an hour's chat tonight because I'm absolutely shattered, knackered. I didn't go to bed last night. Anybody who's listened to the Rambler show today, there is a Rambler that's gone up this afternoon, if anybody's interested. Any Xbox game chat? I can talk about anything you want, mate. I've actually been discussing that Xbox Pass game, and you're probably not going to like what I have to say about it if you're an Xbox fan. And any regular listeners to my show, and it's not fanboyism, and you've only got to go back on the history of my thoughts. I am one, and we are all about new tech. We are all about new boxers and PS Pros and Scorpios. And yes, whilst I think that the stuff that Xbox have done with the back compat is okay, it's purely not for me. I honestly don't think I have played more than 30 seconds to a few minutes of a backwards compatible game ever. I think the longest I did was, to be honest, Ryo, I've not looked at the pricing. I've literally just, a couple of people's contacted me today. I saw a quick post by Microsoft. I was meaning to have a closer look for the show on Monday, well, this weekend that's coming. But in a nutshell, I mean, I've posted to a friend tonight. I mean, Luke, I don't know if he's in the room, we was talking. I mean, as an example, I think Luke likes the idea. Because I look at it like this. I mean, Luke said, and he made a good point, it makes PlayStation now look shit. Well, we know that's shit anyway. Nobody's going to beat about the bush. That I've said for quite a while now. Oh yeah, James, I fully understand what it is. I know it's Xbox titles, but I'm like this. I am about new tech. If I'm chucking 400-500 quid at a Scorpio, 300-400 at a Pro, I want to play new stuff. Do you know what I mean? I thoroughly enjoyed playing my old games. It was a generation which we thoroughly enjoyed. The 360 was fantastic. Xbox One games are great. Whether this is a thing they're going to be pushing, we've talked about this many times on the show as well. You know, is this the new way? Is it going to be a Netflix-esque for a game thing? I personally don't think that works. It kind of pushes it onto the point of we say as regarding digital or physical. I guess this might be me being a tad sceptical, but I think this is just something that Xbox fans will like because right now they've not got a lot to shout about. Do they want to be paying extra money for games that they could already buy or already own or whatever? I'm not too sure. That's for you guys to ask yourself. And like I've said, it's exactly the same as back compat. If that's your thing, brilliant. Knock yourself out. Go and pay your money. Play your old games. For me, I just do not like it. And I don't see why all of a sudden we've gone down this route. I get it's great to have your backwards this is my point. All my library there from years past and all your guys' libraries in years past, fantastic. It's your collection. I think it's great if the opportunity for them to work is brilliant, because one day you might want to pop an old disc in. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to hold my hands up. I was playing Guitar Hero 2 nights ago. Didn't mention it on the show, completely forgot about it. Played a couple of hours of Guitar Hero. That's an old game, it's a game I liked. And being able to do that, fine, no problem. But it was this generation, however. It's a kind of an old game. But I actually... It's like I say, I don't know. I don't like it. Because I'd much rather see resources and moving forward. That's the whole thing of tech. You move forward. You know, and I know this is a shitty analogy, but you don't see iPhones or iPads or whatever letting you keep playing the old shit. In fact, it's quite the opposite. They leave the old tech behind. I don't like it. I really don't. You know I don't. And it's not something I'm just jumping on board now because it's been announced today. I've always said it. I've said it about Back Compat. I don't get it. And to me, probably being a bit sceptical again, is it Xbox just buttering you up to make you think you've got something to play? I don't know. I don't like these subscription services either. And if you remember rightly, and you can go back, to the shows from years ago and back me up on this. This is something I've said from day one. That old games don't bother me. They never have done. I didn't like the backwards compatibility. I think it was a great move. But if you remember rightly, now again, I've used the word skeptical a few times already, but it kind of is. When Xbox announced backwards compatibility, that was like a pretty drop the mic moment at the E3 a few years back. It was a good one. But again, it just kind of screamed to me that it's giving the fans what they want, a kind of lip service kind of feeling. But I don't see why. And I'm not gonna. And don't get me wrong, I slag off PlayStation as well, because the PlayStation Now mechanic is an absolute load of balls. We know that. And I've been talking to Ricky today when we finished the Rambler that if this year finally that PlayStation do not do something about PlayStation Now, especially when Xbox have just come out and thrown this out, if they just let PlayStation Now continue with no mention of any new subscription or any new way moving forward, I don't know. I think it'll die. Wait a minute, I'll rephrase that. It will die. It's already fucking dying. Nobody in the right mind is paying $12.99 a year to play old shit. And again, I go back to the point. Why do we buy new tech? And why has it suddenly just started happening on this generation? That's what I can't understand either. Why all of us... I mean, back in the day when you got your 360s or whatever, people were saying, is it going to run the old stuff? Is the PS2 going to run the PS1? And if you remember rightly, the first generation, I think Ricky's still actually got one, first generation of the PS3 ran PS2 games. And it was a big contentious issue then. And I remember Microsoft actually coming out and saying, the words, I think it was Major Nelson, because people were pissing and moaning when they announced that they wasn't going to put backwards compatibility into the machine at that time, because it was going to cost a lot. To put the processor on the board to play the old games that you owned would have cost Microsoft an extra $100 to the price point. And that's when they decided not to do it. But obviously, technology moved on to this generation. But I just don't fucking get it. I don't. Why do you want to spend £500, £400 on a brand new piece of tech? And all that you want to be interested in is playing old shit. And I get if you've got a collection, and it's your collection, I get that you might want to play the odd one. But for the company to be pushing, oh look, we're going to give you this, and it's a subscription service. Now listen, and this is probably fucking really stupid. You know, if they give you that and it's free, brilliant, no problem. Few games you can play for free, because they're really old, it's an older generation, here we are, it's a nice bit of thing for you. We're going to release 4 or 5 games a month that's really old, and they're yours to play for free. Fucking brilliant, thanks. I've been a loyal supporter. I've bought your consoles all my life. That's a real nice thing. But to come out, to bring out now, on a console that's struggling now because there's no new games coming out because they're mid-cycle, just screams to me as like, well, this will keep them quiet for a bit. I don't get it. I really fucking don't get it. Because I'd rather all that resources, all that shit that they're doing, I'd rather them come out today. You know, I'd rather them come out and say, this is 3 brand new IPs that we're supporting. Brand new game, this brand, but they fucking don't. Craig, hi, how are you today? I cannot see any game you're playing. I'm not playing anything at the minute. I'm on the... Let me just skip this in case you're not getting a screen. I did put fishing on. But I won't be playing it because I've only just logged on for like 5 minutes. Yeah, it's resumed now. You should have a thing. Because it's... I don't feel like playing tonight. I'm absolutely shattered. I didn't go to bed last night. I stayed up like a fucking idiot because I couldn't sleep. Probably going to be bad tonight because of the weather. So I'm just probably going to stay on for an hour's chat or so. So, right, it's a good thing surely helps transition to a new console launch, but this is a weird scenario. I think Microsoft know the stats, they know. I'll tell you what I will say about this. I've got my own personal views, and I tell them you, and it's just what it is. I don't get the whole point of spending all this money and showing all this fucking nice, fantastic tech. We're all now moving forward to 4K and shit. And the thing is, fuck it. Why do you want to keep going back on old stuff? We've been talking, Craig, we're talking about the announcement today that Microsoft have announced that subscription service a la Netflix-esque style. A lot of old Xbox fanboys have really spattered, or I've seen a few tweets, oh, this is a great thing, this is brilliant. Personally, I think it's bullshit. Again, stop pushing old stuff, will you, please, for Christ's sake. I don't get it. But as I said at the top of this discussion, if it's your bag, well done, no problem. Knock yourself out. I don't know. It's a strange. And do you know what I've said for a few years as well, or for a few, and I've said this a time or two on my show. It's like Microsoft do weird shit. Microsoft owned the gaming generation with the 360. They owned it. They kicked ass. They knocked the ball out of the fucking ground. They was the bollocks. But they just do crazy shit. And I put this again on that pile of what the fuck. You know when you see these memes on Twitter and it's like, what the fuck? This is one of them moments for me. Saw the tweet earlier and bought on back of that. Microsoft want more money. And this, right, Craig, again, it's money, money, money. And what you're offering us. I've got this nice Xbox One S, nice fucking snazzy new machine you're buying. And don't forget, they want you to buy a brand new fucker in 6 months' time. Do you know... Let me ask you all a question. And don't listen, I'm an Xbox fan. We talked the other night that I want it to work. We need it to work. It's competition. So where does this leave this new system then, moving forward? Where the fuck does it go? Are they going to drag it to the Scorpio? Because seriously now, honestly, if they're going to drag this shit to the Scorpio, which they must do because it's new, it's only just out. They're not going to just do it for 6 months and then that. Griffey, I was an Xbox fan. I played, in fact, the shit I used to get on my show, mate, that I get now, I used to get exactly the opposite. I used to get more shit off Sony people than you'll ever think. At the end of the day, I'm a gamer. I love playing games. And I don't jump on this. You can say was whatever. I'm still an Xbox fan. I will be getting a Scorpio unless it's fucking mortgage price. You know, and it's like... I don't get it. That I go back to Microsoft do crazy shit, and they don't need to do crazy shit. You know, I mean, what about, like, are they going to drag this to the Scorpio? Seriously. Are they going to want us to pay, and I'll give you all the benefit of the fucking doubt, and I even had a laugh with Ricky the other day. Ricky thinks the Scorpio might even be $350. I nearly fell off my fucking chair. No, Griffey, I mean, you see, where you should get my position here, and it's 100% accurate, I'm a gamer. I've been gaming for over 40 years. Okay? I play the best games that I want to play that I enjoy. Oh no, we've got a fucking moth in the house. I've got to go and shut some windows. We've got some flying floppies. So what I'm saying is this. Right now, Griffey, and you can't disagree with me, I don't think anybody can. I don't need an Xbox One because there's fuck all to play on it. Me and, if you haven't listened to the Rambler yet, we're going, because we've gone on like a mad shopping spree this week. We've been talking like two old women. And it's like, I nearly bought an Xbox One yesterday. Not going to lie. I nearly bought an Xbox One S again. And it's just... And then you just sit there and I thought, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to get it. I'm going to undo it. Drop it on there. And then... do what? And as a gamer, and this is what I'm trying to say, Griffey, it's like... I want to play the best stuff, and nobody can deny right now the best stuff's on PlayStation. It's a no fucking brainer. It's not just me, it's the world. It's gaming world at the minute, it is. But I don't get this Microsoft thing again. It's just one of them weird things. They do weird shit. Why? And again, this is what confuses me about it. We're right on the cusp of supposedly having the most powerful console as gamers we've ever had at our fingertips. But what they do, 6 months down off it being released, they want all you people, me included if I had one, they want us to chuck $7.99 a month at something to play old games. Like, what the fuck? So wait a minute then, again, I'll go back to what I'm saying. So when this 27 belly flop fucking console comes out in November, are they going to port it to that? Because I swear to fucking God, if they want me to spend, and you guys, if they want us to spend 400 quid benefit of the doubt on a brand new top range console, some of you might argue, well, it's an extra service they want to offer you. No, bollocks. You're giving me a brand new console. I want you to show me what brand new shit's coming on it. Not you want me to pay another £8 a fucking month to play old shit that I've been playing for the last 5 years. I don't get it. I really don't. And I want to ask you all a question here, and a serious question, and we can all say, I'm not going to argue backwards compatibility is a very clever thing and a really good thing that they did at the time for the Xbox gamers. This again is another weird shit. Why have they bought another one on top? But that's by the by, and a subscription service. And a couple of you in the room might say, yeah, I do. But let me ask you a question. And I say this to Ricky because he's as guilty as the next guy. And I don't mean it nastily. I mean, he buys old games and gets old stuff all the time. But I ask him, yeah, Craig, and that's it, mate. If, as I said at the top, if it's your bag, nobody's going to hold it against you, mate. You're happy. But me as a person that likes new tech, as do new people, I don't see what the point is. I mean, let's be honest today, if you are a retro gamer, you've probably got a 360 setup and a PS3 setup to play all your collection that you've kept over the years. That's what I mean. Why do they want to give it us on another box? Alright, you could argue, well, I don't have to have fucking 12 boxes lined up. As a collector, as a retro fan, you enjoy having that shit like that, in my opinion. If you are one of them players, you enjoy having these old consoles, you're a collector. But this timing, again, is weird. They should be, again, and it's fucking crazy. And I know we're 2 weeks off E3, 2.5 weeks, and we'll get the answers. But why are they dropping this 2.5 weeks before E3? It's like, you're giving us a subscription service when there's fuck all to play on this machine anyway, but we're fans, we're supporters, we've supported you all your life, we've given you all as money, we've owned your consoles, we're willing to give you the benefit of the doubt because you're about to give us the best console on the market today. Why aren't you telling us what's coming? Do you not agree with me here as well? And guys, I hope to fucking Christ on E3 weekend I'm sat here and say, oh my God, I was wrong, fucking fantastic. Do you not all agree here right now, even though E3 is only 2.5, 3 weeks away, Do you all not find it exceptionally fucking really, really strange, because we are gamers, we know our history has gone in the past, do we not all think at the minute, why aren't they telling us anything? That worries me, and has worried me for the last 2 fucking years. Every history has shown us that when big games are coming out, they can't fucking help themselves. They're tripping over themselves to tell us that Super Duper X10 is coming out in 2019. They're telling us fuck all. They've told us fuck all for a long time. And I don't get that. Because even if a developer wants to... Don't forget, developers need to make money. They're independent of the console owners. They just need that machine to fucking do it. Do you know what I mean? Could it be suspense? It could be, Griffey, but let me put this to you. When in history of gaming have we ever had a situation where you're not getting information about fuck all? That worries me. They're not even giving you a slight hint. And this is what I go back to. How long did we know about Horizon Zero Dawn? How long did we know about when Forzas were coming out? How long ago did we know when Halos were coming out? I can name game after game after game after console after whatever. In the last 10, 15 years, they are falling over themselves to make an announcement. Why? Because they need to sell the fucking things. But why aren't they saying anything? And I'm praying, hoping to Christ, like a lot of you, E3 comes in 2 weeks' time and I'm on the show and we're saying, fucking hell, look at this, look at that, look at that. But it's crazy. Yeah, but Nintendo's, Griffey, you can argue with Nintendo all you want. Nintendo's a completely different animal and does not fall under any criteria of gaming things. Enage, good point, mate. Bang on point. Gaming leaks. We've had them all for the last 10 years. Where's any gaming leaks for anything on the Scorpio? You guys now answer me a question. Can you, any of you, even name a 100% guaranteed day one game release for the Scorpio right now? I don't mean speculation. I don't mean all the things that's talked. Microsoft can't afford to copy Nintendo, Griffey. And this is the bit, you see, this is the other side of the coin. This is the flip side of the coin. Microsoft are not in a position to fuck about. They are so far behind in the console market. And you guys as gamers know, we've all followed the history of gamers through the last 20 years. We know how it goes. We know how it works. Very rarely, and that's why it's so important to be, you know, to be the leader. 360 did it, then PlayStation at this time. Microsoft, of all this, even though the cool shit they've got coming out, they can't afford to make a mistake this time. Because they're so far behind the 8 ball right now, if they do make a fucking mistake, they're going to be in trouble. You mentioned Halo, guys, as a joke, I get it, Forza is a given. But again, Ryu, I put it to you, they are a given, but have they officially said this is coming out day one? So, they are filthy rich. Griffey, you need to know something, mate, and a lot of gamers don't actually get this, and I don't know why you guys don't get this. Microsoft are exceptionally rich. They're not a gaming company. Please get it out your head that Microsoft give a shit about the gaming section. They don't. I'm not saying they're in trouble. They don't give a shit about the gaming section. The gaming section to Microsoft as a company is a tiny little dot on their map. Tiny. They've just announced a fucking ridiculously priced new tablet again today, coming out. Believe me, gaming is a dot on their landscape. And as gamers, you need to think that, please don't think that like Microsoft officers are sat there going, yes, gaming's like our big fucking... No, it's not. Believe me. It's fucking not. And especially don't forget, as all of this, it's a business. Okay? It's a business. So where do you think the accountants are sat right now thinking as Xbox, as a portion of their company, they're behind the leading markers. Okay? They're behind the marketplace. Now, as a business making millions and millions, where do you think their accountants are looking now? Well, where are we today then? You're fucking miles behind. That's where you are. They will make cash. They will sell a lot of consoles. They will sell a lot of games, just not driving hard. Griffey, I tell you what then. Tell me why you think that. And I'm not trying to get into an argument. We're having a discussion, and a really good, cool discussion. You're obviously in favour. You're kind of, sounds like you're a really good fan of Xbox, and great. Brilliant. But what you've just said there, they will make cash, they will sell a lot of consoles, they will sell a lot of new games. Did they not think this generation? Did they not, when they sat at E3 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, did they not sit on stage and think, we're going to knock this fucker out of the park? Look how that turned out. What is it, 24.5 to 79 million? So what makes you think they're going to do it this time? But it brings me back full circle. They don't need exclusives to sell games. I'm sorry, Griffey, I completely disagree with you. Completely disagree with you, 100%. Xbox needs... Alright, no, sorry, not exclusives. No, I'll take that back. I'm getting slightly mixed. Exclusives, no, I get that. What I'm saying is what Microsoft need to do, what they haven't done, they need new IPs. They need to stop feeding us the same shit all the time. I'm not saying it is shit. I'm not saying it is shit. It isn't. Forzas, Halos, they've been fantastic. But again, I go back to the beginning. This is a brand new console. The biggest console that we've ever had as gamers. And right now, we are what, 6 months away? Maybe less? We haven't got a fucking clue what's coming on it. And let me throw something else to you. The keynote at E3 is about an hour and a half long. Okay? 20 minutes to half an hour of that, I have no doubt they're going to start shoveling again, because they can't help themselves, about what the Scorpio does. We know what the fucking thing does. You've told us for the last 8 months. Are they going to really have enough time to satisfy all us gamers? The thing is, Griffey, they're in a sticky fucking problem at the minute. Again, I go back to the business side of it. As gamers, we don't give a shit about the business side. We just hope the next console plays the best fucking shit. It's out now for as cheap as it possibly is, and they start fucking chucking games at us. Right now, that's not happening. It hasn't happened this generation. And I, for one, I'm as disappointed as anybody. I played my Xbox more than Sony. I didn't touch my PlayStation 3. In fact, PlayStation 3 to 360, I would say it's about 95 to 5% of my game time when I was doing it. But as a gamer, I've slowly just come to grips with, I want to play the latest, bestest games. And at the minute, it's on there. Oh, he's back. Oh, you're not going to make me get my iPad again, are you, you prick? You are a knobhead, whoever you are. Do you know that? I ain't in the mood for you tonight, you dickhead. Having exclusives costs more money. Griffey, I'm going to agree with you now, and we've spoke on the show about exclusives, and I don't want to get mixed up with exclusives and new IPs. Exclusives, yeah, I think exclusives are a dangerous thing. We all know the bullshit that happened with Tomb Raider. I actually hoped as gamers, and I'm hoping you guys did as well, the thing that happened with Tomb Raider should never happen again. It should teach everybody at both companies that kind of shit should not happen again. I don't mind tiny exclusives, you know, like the kind of thing that Destiny and Call of Duty have got, like they get the maps a few weeks early. Okay, that's a tiny bit of brand loyalty because you've supported us for years. I don't mind that one. But if we start to see Tomb Raider-esque things again, I think that's bullshit of epic proportion. And I look at it like this. Fortunate enough as a podcaster to have both consoles at the time, and I will have next time. So as you guys know, Tomb Raider is one of my greatest franchise games of all time. I absolutely love it. It didn't bother me when... It bothered me as a gamer to you guys, because all you people that were just sole PlayStation owners, where Tomb Raider originally started, which was the biggest bullshit move of everything, and when you actually analyse that as a gamer, that stunk to high heaven, that you are basically being held to ransom because Microsoft decided to pay one company a lot of money to have an exclusive. And not only was it, here's a few weeks, it was a fucking year. It was ridiculous. That should never happen again, ever. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but Griffey, wait a minute, mate. You're completely going to lose this argument. The biggest bullshit move was the Tomb Raider. Anything that happens on Sony has constantly happened on Xbox, and it's a few weeks exclusive here, few weeks there. The Tomb Raider one was shocking. Absolutely shocking. So I don't mind on both consoles. I don't mind if Xbox give you a bit of whatever, 2 or 3 weeks, or Call of Duty maps are a couple of weeks things. That means fuck all. But when you're making big gaps, and the Tomb Raider one was absolute utter bullshit. You cannot bring, and I think what made that stink to high heaven was the point of, it was one of the biggest gaming franchises in the history of gaming. It actually started on the PlayStation. It was one of the biggest games ever. And to suddenly be told that you can't play the latest, bestest version of it for a year? What the fuck? It's crazy. It's crazy. Sony wasn't bullying the market, because Sony only had small exclusives for timed periods, like I said. And timed exclusives have happened forevermore on both consoles. Tomb Raider reboot was a success. It did, and that was the crazy thing as well. But what I was going back to, Shindo, it was the point, as a fan, if you are... Let's put a scenario. Let's say me, as a massive fan of Tomb Raider that's played every single hour of every single game. Let's say I only owned a PlayStation that time. Like somebody's just said in the chat, they basically holding you to ransom, that they're telling you need to go and buy a new console. That is wrong. And I really do hope it never happens again. I do. I really hope it never happens again. Definitely. And that's it, Craig. This is why the whole argument of exclusives and shit, I think we've had this discussion on the show. We had a big discussion at thing. Originally, I think Xbox used to be the exclusive machine. They took the piss all the time. So it was no way Sony going against it. No way on this earth. Right, Alan brings a good point. Would the recent Sony exclusives like Horizon be as flawless and almost perfect, I'd say, if it wasn't spread across everything? That's a good point. Developers just developed for one console and have made this game. Now, do you classify Horizon Dawn as an exclusive for one console? Of course you do. It's only playable on that console. But I'm going to tell you something now, and I don't know if you guys agree with this, and this goes back to the whole argument of the whole thing we've just been talking about. I think, personally, Horizon Dawn existed in its form, and it's the best example, because it's probably one of the best games that's been released in current times on anything. I think Horizon Dawn existed in its form purely on console sales. And this is why I go back to, it swings right back round. Why aren't Microsoft telling us what's coming out for the Scorpio gaming-wise? Because Horizon Dawn was made by that developer probably because they knew, and I think Ricky told me this a few weeks ago and it made perfect sense, we were talking privately. If you're Mr. Developer bringing a brand new game out, are you going to send it to Microsoft exclusively for 20 million consoles to buy? Or do you want to send it to Sony that's got 78 million consoles to buy? It's a no fucking brainer. And this brings us right back to square one of business. A developer at the bottom of the line wants to make money. That's why I can't understand that even some developers, and somebody mentioned the word leak, why aren't anything leaked? Do you know what I mean? It is all swings and roundabouts, but I do hope the Tomb Raider fiasco never happens again, and I personally don't think it will. I think we'll always get mini exclusives. Like I said, I think you'll always get your Call of Duty map packs. I think Destiny's doing it again this time. I think Destiny's got a small exclusive again. It is what it is. Them things, I think we just live in a world where you've got to accept that. But I think that Tomb Raider shocked a lot of people across the industry. Both developers and gamers. That was a very fucking strange thing to do. It came from nowhere, came out left field, and it was like, what are you doing? I remember the day I read that, because I got the PR email. Don't forget, I get emails way before you guys. I get emails of all information you guys get that are weeks before. Now, the point is, when I read that, I actually thought it was a fucking misprint. I, honest to Christ, read it, and it read something along the lines of, it was a massive email, it read something like it's fucking, something like, Tomb Raider is an exclusive, 12-month exclusive, and I thought that was a fucking misprint. I actually thought that they'd put the 2 as an, you know when somebody's typing, I thought they'd caught the number 2 with the finger, and that's a God's honest truth. And I thought it should have read Tomb Raider is on Xbox One with a month exclusive. And then it started coming out on the wires and people were saying, shit, this is a year's exclusive. And then it all went to fucking crazy town, didn't it? Stupid, madness. Microsoft admitted that it's a risky business venture in funding a one-console exclusive and spending a fortune. It might... Yeah, Microsoft, as I said, the consoles, it's a very... And again, Griffey, I'll go back to this point. Microsoft need to do this one correct because they need to pull back the fucking annihilation that they've had this time. Yeah, Square Enix came out very bad on that fucking score as well, I must admit. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if ever quotes were quoted and it came out at the time, but obviously I'm from Derby and the surrounding area, and Tomb Raider is very famously from that area. It was designed by a small studio in Derby, became one of the greatest games of all time. They sold the rights to it, which was sad. There's even a street in Derby called Lara Croft Way. I'd love to know what their opinion was when that happened, because I think they'd have been fucking turning around. They'd have lost their minds. Is Rory McIlroy golf worth £2.50 on the Play Store? What, on mobile, Martin? I'd never seen it on mobile, mate, and I wouldn't play a golf game on a mobile device, to be fair. I'm not a mobile gamer. I really, personally, I detest games on mobile devices. I haven't played a game on my mobile or iPad. I touched the pool game for 10 minutes a month ago, but crazy. Wrong. It was 12 months exclusive, so why is that worse than a lifelong exclusives games like Horizon? I'm not wrong. That's different. That's different. Tomb Raider is a game in history that's been on every console. Okay? Right? It's been on every console. To suddenly hold it on one, that's an error. Horizon Dawn was developed for one console. I could sit here and piss and moan at you and argue then for the argument's sake. Why isn't Halo on PlayStation? It happens. Proper exclusives have happened through history. That is an accepted thing. I meant, why do Microsoft need to catch up if they are still making lots of cash? Griffey, why do you think Microsoft, where are you getting the information from? They're making lots of cash. And I'll tell you what then, whoa, and I don't want to get into your argument, it's a discussion. You're obviously sticking up for Microsoft, and I'm with you. And that's it. Horizon Dawn is a first party. That's the word I was looking for, Craig. First party, third party. Understand that answers that question stone dead. Just as Halo's a first party on Xbox. End of story. No argument. You can't pull a third party game and then pull it away. Right, so get this. You're saying Microsoft are making shitloads of money. Okay, they might be making a decent amount of money. But I'm still going to go back to the bottom line. And the world turns with business. No matter what you're fucking selling, what you're buying, or what you're doing. Business, bottom line. How much more money do you think PlayStation are making right now compared to Microsoft? And that's the kind of thing I'm trying to get across to you. When I'm saying they need to catch up, Of course they need to fucking catch up. Do you think the executives at Microsoft are happy that that console sold 78 fucking million? Griffey, Microsoft are rich, but please, for Christ's sake, get it into your brain. It's fuck all to do with gaming. Gaming, for Microsoft, is a minuscule dot on their map of business. Tiny. Tiny. Believe me. So, when I say they need to catch up, I don't mean they need to, like, fucking roll it. When you was a bit... Right, nobody can argue it's a direct competition. It's a no-brainer. They might argue we're not direct, we're independent. Bullshit, we know it's not. The point is this. You cannot take away that I know Sony are going to come to E3 and the first thing they're going to spout on Monday, we've sold 80 million PlayStation 4s. I bet you as much money as you fucking got in the world today that Microsoft do not mention a single fucking mention of how many Xbox Ones are sold. Of course they're not. The bottom line is, it's like, they've got to catch up. You can't expect a business to run when you're being outdone by your competitor 3-1. Per dollar investment, you have no clue. Griffey, believe me, mate, it was well known that about 5, 6, 7 years ago, Microsoft were ready to pull the plug on the gaming section. When, what's his name? Was it Steve? Not, what was his name? Fucking hell, what was his name? The bald-headed guy. When he was put in charge. They were ready to pull the plug on the gaming section. And let me tell you something now what you might not be aware of as well. Sony are in exactly the same boat. Sony as a company don't really care about the gaming section. That also is a dot on their business map. Because we're gamers, we kind of believe that it is the be-all and end-all of their company. It's fuck all. Believe me. It's a little offshoot. Go and play with your games and make us a bit of money. And I'm telling you now, there's no way that the executives at Microsoft want to sit back and see their direct competitor selling their product that's in direct competition with you, yeah, is wanting to be outsold 3-1. No business in the world. If you were making fucking toilets and Joe Blogg's toilets down the road was outselling your toilets 3-1, are you going to be happy? Of course you're fucking not. So, they obviously make money. They're a business, they make money. But I'm going back to the business part of the competition, which is this is what all the things. Do you know what I mean? The competition. We all know as gamers, it's a well-known fact, it is competition. The companies will have you believe it's not. Pull the plug because they don't need it. Sony need the gaming division. It's been noted that you're fucked on TVs. Sony, again, 4 or 5 years ago, the gaming section was dying. What I'm saying is, this is my point, right? Back in the day, Sony's gaming section was exactly like the Microsoft gaming section is now. It was an offshoot they weren't too bothered about. Sony used to make TVs. It's a well-known fact years and years ago, and this is what I'm trying to get round to you. Why it's so important to sell as many consoles as you can. This is the kind of thing I think you're misinterpreting what I'm trying to get. Sony in the day, their gaming division was low. They tried to sell tellies, but the TVs were selling shit. The company was in trouble. But now, Sony have realised that because the gaming has taken over and doing so well now, they're happy that they're making money. So what I'm saying is, Microsoft's business is better massively compared to Sony. Gaming is saving Sony because it's doing so well. Now I go back to my point of Microsoft need to pick the game up. I'll tell you what then, Griffey, let me ask you this question. Let's say in 2 years' time, we're having this same competition, okay? We're having this same conversation. If it happens again, if we'll say 3 years from now, if Sony PS5 is outselling Scorpio 3-1, where do you think that would leave Microsoft? Give me your answer. Where do you think, if we are, and then I'll also ask you a question to answer to the room as well, what do you think Microsoft have to do for this Scorpio? Because and let me just reiterate this, I'm also listening to this information being talked about in exactly the same way as big podcasts are. Your IGNs and your GameSpots and all this are talking exactly the same. They need to step up. They need to do well this time. E3 needs to be a blast. They need to make us buy the console. And again, it kind of also goes back to, you can't argue with history. Gaming's got a very good history, and you can track it back to for years. Of how things sell. Xbox was winning, then it wasn't. PlayStation winning now. What's going to happen the next generation? So, do you know what I mean? So where do you guys think Microsoft have got to go this time then? There's also a point, Griffey, that's a big point as well, that a lot of people are kind of touching on. You've got to make a profit, okay? You've got businesses. We're not going to disagree on that fact, are we? No matter what you're selling, we all know, and that's why developers really and shit like that, they only care about one thing. They don't care about gamers. Don't ever think they do. They don't. They're bothered about the check at the end of the day and the dollars rolling in, okay? And the investment that they've put into the product. Now again, it goes to the point of, as a business, as a developer, you are going to want to put your product on the best-selling item. And that makes perfect sense. That's common sense. It's not fanboy sense. It's not anything. It's common sense. If I'm a software developer, I want my game on the machine that's sold 75 million units instead of the one that's 20 million units. Because that makes perfect business sense as a person selling a product. It's like me selling shit paper. Am I going to put my new brand of shit paper in the local corner shop, or am I going to send it to Tesco? Of course you're going to send it to fucking Tesco, because you're going to sell a shitload more. And that's the kind of analogy I'm trying to get to. And this is what, as gamers, we need, or Microsoft need, to be careful of. Irrespective of costs, business, money, developers will send their products to the place that's going to sell fucking more. That is a no-brainer. As gaming fans, me included, and you, we need both companies to be equal at least, so products, and this is for you guys that's got one console, or has an affiliation with Sony, or has an affiliation with Xbox, you need both consoles to be equal, or not far behind. This generation, let me tell you now, common sense prevails, and this, you can take this how you want. The reason you're not playing the Xbox top-rated games right now is quite fucking simple, that the better games are going on to the machine that's selling more. It's common sense. Let's say, Griffey, you owned fucking Gorilla. And 2 years ago, you was sat with your Horizon Dawn on the table and saying, where are we selling this fucker then? Would you have gone to knock on Microsoft's door that's selling 20 million consoles and say, here, have this? Or do you want to go and sell it to that one that's selling 70 million? It's the kind of thing I'm trying to get to you to a point is, which brings us all the way back, Microsoft need to pick the game up. They need to get back. We all need them to get back. And again, it just brings us all the way back to the beginning of this whole fucking discussion, which has been great, by the way. I've enjoyed it. Where we say, why aren't they telling us what's coming out for it? It just, again, it still scares me. For the first time in the history of our games are dealt to us, it's a weird one. It's never happened before. This, what is happening now with the Scorpio, has never happened before on any other console. Yes, we used to get the odd fucking drop the mic moment, oh my god, look what's coming out, they saved that one, didn't they? I get that. that's just a cool secret and it's a great little marketing ploy. But where we stand now, it's June next week. June, July, August, September, October, November. 7 months to November when Microsoft release their consoles. They always do it in November. Why aren't we listening? Why aren't we hearing anything? Am I right in saying that I think, is E3... Yeah, I've just agreed with you on that, Griffey, about Sony. I know the rest of the... That's what I'm trying to get to. The gaming department saved their section because the TV department went tits up. So I'm not disagreeing for that at all. But it still brings you back to why Microsoft need to do well. But like I say, I don't know what... Am I right in saying that... Why do you say Microsoft don't need to do shit? I can't get you... I don't get your meaning. So I'll tell you what then, Griffey. If that your statement there, Microsoft don't need to do shit. So let's play hypothetical, okay? So you're saying then that if Scorpio comes out in fucking November and they only sell 5 million consoles, and this is totally hypothetical, they only sell 5 million consoles for whatever fucking reason, there's only a handful of games, or they're fucking... Right, profit's king. Profit's king. So how the fuck are you going to make a big profit then, only selling 3 to 1 against, 1 to 3 against your biggest opposition? What kind of profit are you turning over then? You're kind of contradicting your own argument. But I'll go back to what I've just said. Microsoft don't need to do shit. So let's say in November they sell 5 million consoles. Fast forward to 2018, Sony PlayStation 5, because of all the track record and all the fan base they've got already, sell the PlayStation 5 and they sell 20 million copies of the console. So we're now back to exactly the same scenario because according to you, they don't need to do shit. Are you seriously going to sit there and tell me that Microsoft can afford to put all this development into the Scorpio and then only still fall behind their major competitor because they don't need to do shit? I don't know where you're getting it from. I don't get what you mean. I'll still stand by, Michael, and I have this discussion with everybody nearly every day. And I hope I'm wrong. I honestly... They don't need to change the business model. I don't get what you mean. What business model? The business model of being out fucking sold by the biggest competitor. That's not a business model. That's business suicide. And let's not forget, it's business suicide because it's fucking... They don't want... There was the number one market leader by a long way. They was in the driving seat. No business suddenly wants to be the one at the fucking back. And I'm not saying to a point we need Microsoft to come and overtake and then be in leading 3-1. We need a level playing field. We need it back to the days where they were both fighting against each other. But as I say, there's no way Microsoft, and again I'll go back to the Thend as well, that they can't afford to sell this console at a loss. And let's also, simple thing here, you can go back and watch every fucking video for the last 6 months. And this, if you're an Xbox fan, if you're a real big Xbox only big fan, I'd be scared shitless of what Phil Spencer fucking says in the last 3 months. Because he can't stop saying the words, this is a hardcore console for the hardcore gamer. He was on live podcast and kept saying the words, and bar actually fucking saying the words, this is going to be $600, he may as well have fucking said it there and then. And it's proven in video, he's said it again and again. He is constantly telling you, I think it's a warning. I think it's a preemptive warning. You've only got to go and watch that Unlocked podcast. Them 4 people on that podcast, their faces, I've never seen faces like it in my life. One, when he wouldn't answer about any games coming out, I thought he was going to start crying. The main guy who was asking the question, he sat there and said, oh, well, can you tell us what the big IP is? Phil Spencer paused and he said, we're very happy with the stuff that's coming out for the machine. Well, wait a minute. Why aren't you telling your fans now that you've got some kick-ass fucking brand new IPs for your brilliant machine? They sat there like fucking... They dropped the dummies. And again, Phil Spencer reiterated on that podcast, and he's said it since then, whenever people have approached him about price of this console, he has always kind of touched on, this is a hardcore machine. That, to me, is him basically telling you, this fucker is going to be very expensive, so get ready. Because I'll throw something out to you. Let me throw this argument to you, and this is why I think this is just my personal thoughts, why I think it's going to be very expensive. We've seen the parts that are going in it. We've seen the cost of them. Ridiculously expensive. Let me sit that podcast down again. We're about to record that. We're about to record Phil Spencer again. And he's never said this hardcore fucking, you know, it's the hardcore console. Let me say then, in his mind, he's obviously privy because he's the main man. Let's pretend you know that you're going to be knocking this console out at $350. He already knows that. It's on the table. The blueprints are out. They're already there. Okay? So we now start recording this unlocked. Okay? Would you not think he is fucking falling over himself to tell people live on one of the biggest Xbox podcasts in the world today that, guys, we've got this fucking 10 belly flop machine coming out that's going to be the absolute bollocks. And guess what? We're going to be able to sell you this for $350. Imagine if he could have said that. That would have killed it. Nobody would have give a fuck whether they told us what was coming out, when it was coming out, or whatever. We're going to have this kick-ass machine. It's going to be $350 fucking dollars. But he used the words again and again when pressed for cost. This is a hardcore. He went out of his way to even compare it to a high-end PC model. So you lot keep saying it's going to be under $400. Not a fucking chance. Ryu, I'll tell you now, and this, you see, it's... If they come and get this for under $400, no shit. And I'll tell you something else now. This is why I think this E3 is going to be fantastic. Let's fucking say, Neil, there's no... Listen, I'm going to tell you guys now that it is going to be expensive, and it is what it is. And it probably will affect sales in the long term. Because they've not... If anything on a business price point, there's no way that Phil Spencer would not have already given us a hint or a clue that it was going to be cheap. Of course you would. Fucking hell. Again, I go back to this model. You're about to put on the market one of the biggest things in the gaming market. And if you knew you was going to be able to sell it, and this is the point I think, I don't think they do know yet, because they don't know what the cost parts are going to be at the time they want to build it. But if you knew that you are going to be able to knock this out at $350, you are shouting it from every fucking rooftop, from every podcast, from every show, from every fucking magazine interview you care to mention. He doesn't. He hasn't. He's always mentioned it's hardcore. That fucker is not going to be a penny under 500 quid. That's just my opinion. And guys, I hope to fuck in 3 weeks' time I'm on the show and saying, holy fuck me, it's $350. Well done, Microsoft. Why should he say now? Same as anything, Ryu. It makes sense to say it now. Let me ask you then, as gamers, would you not have gone fucking mental 3 months ago if Phil Spencer... Wait a minute, everybody lost the shit and was swinging the dicks round for a week because they told us what specs it were going to be. Nobody argued about them telling us the specs, so why fucking argue? Why did people, again, trip over themselves to keep telling us about this fucking thing that it's going to do? So again, move it to price point. Price point would have knocked it out of the park. It really, I mean, if he knows it was going to be cheap, but it's not that I don't think he knows it can't be cheap. When he was pressed, this is all my point, when he was pressed, and he was pressed 2 or 3 times, he actually said the words, it's hardcore. And he actually, I think the analogy was like, well, it's, and I think he said, and I might be wrong on this, I'm not 100% accurate, but I think he went on the lines of, think of the high-end PC market where the hardcore gamers spend $2,000-3,000 on a machine. And he kind of was comparing it to that, but on a console platform. So I think everybody there, me included, was kind of then thinking, okay, a base mark for a new console is around $350. But you're telling us now this is like the next level up. You've already told us it's like the bollocks with the components. But you keep telling us it's going to be the next step up. I honestly believe it's going to be £499 in this country. And we might get fucked even more, by the way. You know that. Just to say, guys, I will be streaming this game tomorrow. I can't wait for this. And if you want to, you know, I've been spouting about the Euro fishing. This is only, it's down to $9.99 in the store, by the way. Thank you to one of the Cranky Gamers that messaged me tonight. Because you guys knew I was talking about I was going to play Euro fishing. I'm dying to get it. And I'm really pleased I didn't fucking buy it because I was close, as you guys know. But it's down to a tenner. I see Major Nelson as quite advanced. Do you know something as well? You know, when I first was into podcasts, and we're going back about 3-4 years, I used to religiously listen to Major Nelson's podcast. I used to religiously listen to it. It was my favourite podcast, and I'll tell you why I fell out of love with it, shall I? Because in the time, Scorpio will be £500. But we shall see. Let me ask you a question before I go on about the Major Nelson thing. Do any of you guys think they'll actually announce the price at E3? There's a question for you. I don't. I don't, definitely. What's the sales of the Pro? I read them the other day. Fucking, I can't remember what they said. I think Sony, though, what Sony have cleverly done, which they're bound to, I think they now put the sales all together. I think in the first month of the NDAs in America, they did announce how many they'd sold, but then Sony then boxed it together as the old PS4 product. Because I do believe they're ready to announce that they've sold 80 million PlayStation 4s at E3. So, Craig, I think we hope they do. They really do. I hope they don't do crazy shit again. Yeah, but Jason, let me put something to you. What was the craziest fucking thing they did at E3 2 years ago? Go on, remember that. And this is why I go back to my original statement that Microsoft, in the last 3-4 years, do crazy shit. Like they've got a lunatic in charge of the asylum that comes up with these crazy fucking ideas and they let him get on with it. Who in the right fucking mind, has a show that much rumoured Xbox One S Slim in white, which was fucking amazing, spend half an hour telling us about it, and then in your next breath, you tell us that you've already made or are making and including a fucking montage video of your next console after you've just showed us and want us all to buy this new one. That, to me, has to go down as one of the most fucking crazy moments in E3 history. I just sat there and thought, what the fuck are you doing? You've literally just tried to sell me a brand new Xbox One S, and I think if we're all right, we all wanted one at the time, because we hated the size of the original box, it was beautiful in white, it had a 4K fucking player in it. So it was like, woohoo! And it was all rumoured. Get ready, they're going to announce the Xbox One S. Get ready, get ready. And yes, sure enough, here it is. Wow, I want one of them. Oh, wait a minute. What's this? They're fucking showing us this new Xbox that they're making. Well, hold on a minute. They want us to fucking pay £290 for this one, don't they? So what about this one? That was a clusterfuck of epic proportion, in my opinion. And I have read since, by the way, and I think I heard this on... I think Phil Spencer actually let this out of the bag. It was either in a magazine interview or it might have been on a podcast again. He was asked about that, because obviously it was years after. Yeah, Ryu, bang on, mate. Bang on. It was the most fucked up idea, and I've since learnt that Phil Spencer said the Scorpio was an absolute last-second decision. No way. Worst sense ever, Jason, I've got to say, mate. Seriously. You've got a gamer above you, Ryu, that literally probably was going to buy an Xbox One S and he didn't buy one because of that. And he wouldn't have been alone either. It just didn't make sense. And like I've just said, Phil Spencer announced in an interview later, about a year later, is like, we decided the Scorpio. I think he said, don't quote me on this, I think he actually said it was like the day before. It was obviously on the table and there was toying with the idea. Obviously they'd got the video made. But business-wise, the big people in the big head guys were saying, look, we're here to promote the Xbox One S Slim. That's what everybody's here for. That's what everybody's expecting. So that's what they was going to do. And it's like, okay.
I'm good. Ready to help.
What do you want? Who said you? Shut up. Yeah, they did. But Shindo, I'm going to tell you this, and I've said this, and whether this is true or not, but I think it kind of answers it, and you know my feeling on this. I honestly believe, whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know, but my personal honest opinion, that Sony bought the Pro out to create this, as I call it, this concertina effect. Because now, whether they sell millions of these or not, I don't think they give a shit. Because what it's done, it's put them... Like you said, guys, my prediction, by the way, and I ain't going to sit here and say I told you so, but I did. Rumours out that the PlayStation 5's coming out in 2018. Very big rumours, very accurate rumours, apparently, by a guy that's never got anything wrong throughout the history of Sony PlayStation consoles. He's been absolutely bang on. So the point is, yeah, I don't know why that. I didn't say the word, did I? Isn't that weird? I do think it's like when you talk to a dog. Dog understands you because of your tone. And if you say a word that sounds like it triggers it. Microsoft is on Sunday, the whole day earlier. Sony's on Monday. And this again, I think this is... And I'll stand by this and they can argue what they want. I honestly believe that Sony will be sat with about 2 or 3 iterations of their thing. What are you going to do with the Pro when the Scorpio is out? Bit of banter, and I agree, but you make a very good point. And it also goes back to the question there. Are you I think I missed the question, I apologise. Am I a frame rate man or a what's it man? And I'm going to tie the two questions in. You are having a bit of banter, but it's kind of a good question. It boils down to games. And that's what I want to keep telling you guys. It's fucking games for me. It always has been. I want to play the new, latest, bestest games. Don't give a shit if it's on a white box or if it's on a black box. I want to play the latest and bestest games. Frame rate doesn't bother me. I like graphics to look nice because I think at the moment, nobody can argue. We're now moving to 4K telly, which is all about visuals. This frames per second, Michael, I've got to say, doesn't bother me, but I do get the point of PC fans kind of do, and I get it because I used to be one of them. Back in the day, I used to fuck about with all that, and it just got too much. But I'm just literally, I'm a gamer. Now, if the Scorpio, and again, going back to answering the question, I want the best games to play, and it's irrelevant what colour machine it's on. It really is. Yeah, and I agree, Shindo, but what you've got to think, I think Sony have fell on the feet here, and it just proves a point. They're in the box seat. They're fucking completely in the box seat. They're currently leading the market 3-1 by a long way. They're going to sit back and watch what Microsoft do. And let me tell you now, by the way, don't think for 1 minute they don't know what their show's going to be, because they fucking do. And I heard yesterday that Phil Spencer tweeted out that they'd done yesterday their first playthrough. They finished their first entire rehearsal behind closed doors yesterday with Microsoft staff. So their E3 show was totally played yesterday behind closed doors. But the point is, Sony are in the box seat, and they've proved it. And I think, I tell you what, and I was joking about it last week on the stream, where drop the mic moment for Sony, do your show, so as all the new games coming out nicely. You may have a Vita 2.0, you might show us a bit of VR stuff, great, brilliant, no problem. End of the thing, fade to black, PS5, 2018, boom, good night, see ya. That would fuck the Scorpio up completely, not completely, but it'd make everybody go, hoo-hoo. So Sony is now in the complete box seat completely. They're just going to sit back, watch Microsoft show us what's coming out for the Scorpio. Don't forget, Sony have also got 2 more major events later this year. They do the Tokyo Game Show, which is their bread and butter for their market, and then they've got the Las Vegas PlayStation Show. And that's what I was touching on. I think, is Microsoft, and I didn't finish the question to you guys, am I not right in saying that the E3, I think Microsoft's got 1 more event after where they can then, it's the GDC event, isn't it? They like to announce stuff at GDC. So Sony have got 2 more events after that. I think the PlayStation 5 maybe touched on kind of this E3 if they feel they need to just tickle the balls of Microsoft a little bit. If they don't feel threatened at all, they'll just let them get on with it. But the point is, come the Vegas show, I think that's when they'll go, da-da-da, job done. And they've already said it's going to be 8 teraflops, so if you want to go down that silly fucking route, which it looks like it's turning into, by the way, we're already playing silly fuckers, because Sony are going to sit and say, well, look at the PlayStation 5. It's got 8 teraflops. The Scorpio's only got fucking 6. So now we're playing silly fuckers, aren't we? And it's kind of turning into that. And that's why I go back to my point. Sony's, for whatever main reason they did the Pro, I'm happy with the Pro. I love it. It works brilliant with my 4K telly and it's fantastic. But they just sit back and just, whatever they do, they think, yay, you fucking bring us your Scorpio and let's have a look, because what we're going to do, we're going to announce our new machine, and they're just in the box seat. It's fucking crazy. So whether it was done on purpose, maybe not. I think you made a great point about they wanted to get some 4K to the market. It was the buzzword. But indirectly or directly, they've made a fucking killing of it. And I honestly believe that in the background, Sony has sat back saying, I don't give a shit how many that sells. And I honestly don't think they do. They've already sold the consoles. They're already 75 million plus up. They don't give a shit anymore. They've already done what they set out to do. What the Pro's done is just set them in the box seat to sit back, popcorn on your lap, feet up, bang in. Let's sit back and have a look what you lot are doing. So yeah, it's crazy. Fucking mad. I got rid of my Xbox One after a month. I think the user interface. Don't even get me started on the fucking Xbox user interface. It's a nightmare. I'll tell you something. I've got a question for you guys while we just... the fish are fucked up. I'll be playing this tomorrow night, by the way. I'm looking forward to playing this. I've got a question for you. And don't let me forget my track of thought. It was a good one. Oh, let me try and get my thought back. What was it? It was about Xbox. Yeah, got it. Do you guys think we're going to get a brand new user interface on the Scorpio? Do you think they're going to do a complete revamp? And by the way, why are people posting on Twitter and on social networks that they want that box to keep that little clock that tells you frames per second on it? Fucking ridiculous. What, you say no, what, you don't think they're going to get a new UI? I think it totally needs fucking wiping. And it has done fucking ages ago. I can't get over how warm it is in this flat. I've got every window open. I hate this kind of weather. I really fucking do. I don't sleep well enough as it is, but I really don't fucking sleep when it's like this. I've got to do my fish tank tomorrow. That's due for a change because the water's going down like he's drinking the fucker. I'm going to tell you something, Jason, actually. Do you know This game's horror. This game's a horror film for little Cranky. Hope he's tucked in bed. He is. The light's on, the blue light. Got to clean him out tomorrow. 20% water change. Bought a fantastic fucking siphon the other day. Long gone are the days where you're sucking up fish shit and pouring it in a bowl. This fucking thing come from Amazon, £7. It's got all this bollocks contraption that's got a special thing in the bottom that's made for sand that sucks it up and hoovers the shit out but doesn't suck it up. It's got a fucking dial to control the flow. But get this, it's a one-handed use. You do not touch the water at all with your mouth. You put the tube in, you give it a bit of a shake like that. Boom. I had a practice in the sink the other day. It was fucking cool. Phil's a snake oil salesman. Watch him go at E3. Mate, I tell you, I think I saw somebody posting earlier. I bet his arsehole was going to be sixpence E for crown on that day. Take a lot of bollocks to get up there, period, anyway. We've all seen some nightmare, people getting up. And I don't think I could do it. I'd like to go at it. I fucking would. I'd like to get up there and give it some. I'd fucking show them. Come on. Give me the fucking script. Let me show you how it's done. I'd get the script, look at it, rip it up, throw the fucker away and say, right, let's get this shit done. But it must be nerve-wracking. But I hate this, and I really do. I hate it when they get technical glitches. I think it's so sad, so unlucky, and it's a shame that happens, because they have planned it for months. They have done rehearsals and shit, and I really hope both shows go flawlessly. I really do. It's crazy. It must be very nerve-wracking. Jason, I really want Xbox to do well and come out fighting. I love the first two. Mate, so do I. And I get everybody in this fucking room wants to, surely. We need a level playing field to create better games. Like I kind of touched on earlier. If you're a developer, you're going to want to send it to the best-selling console. Do you know what I mean? It just makes perfect business sense. You're going to send it to a thing that's selling 3 times more than the other fucker. And that creates a void that we don't need. Because I'll tell you now, if ever the day comes where we're down to one console market, you can fucking get ready then. Remember the hoop god? What's the hoop god? Is that a typo? Alexa, time is it?
The time is 11:27 p.m.
Alexa, volume 5. My day at my daughter's flat has been postponed. I was supposed to go and flat sit tomorrow because she's having a washer delivered. Well, it turns out, after I'd booked the fucking taxi, that she rang me today to say, Dad, it doesn't matter because the washer's told me it's coming between 7 and 10 in the morning and I might as well just wait till 10 o'clock and just have an hour off work. We've just talked about that, Ada. You know what I mean? Like I said, and this is what scares me, and we're not going back over old ground, but it confuses me more than anything and scares me. Because like I reiterated at the start of all this chat, it's never happened before in the history of games. They can't help themselves to fall over and tell us what game you're playing in 2018 and 19. Do you know what I mean? Oh yeah, that was it. I hate to see people on the stage that are completely shitting themselves. And who can ever remember the fucking cringe-worthy moment of when the big guy himself for Nintendo, Miyamoto, got up to show the new Wiimote and it fucking went out of sync and went all to fuck, didn't it? Can you remember that one? Holy shit, you wanted to bury your head up your arse. Well, that was a bad one. I just hope they all go well. I wish Nintendo, by the way, were going to do a proper keynote. I think that would have made this E3 the best one ever. But now, instead, you're just going to have to go fishing around for fucking silly little snippets and clippets again. And that, again, it doesn't make sense. Why aren't Nintendo wanting to do a keynote to, again, tell us what's coming for the Switch? But then again, that's selling like a fucking crazy thing, isn't it? Gamers have built a hub in a star system on No Man's Sky with a capital planet. I'd love to find it and find a planet for myself. I keep meaning to go back to that game. People are saying it's really good now. But I enjoyed it anyway. I enjoyed it from start. Thought it was a great game. I did. So tomorrow, my favourite was PS3's infamous hits weak spots for massive damage. I hope Nintendo destroy everyone else so Steve has to play kids games for the rest of his life. That would be funny, definitely. Will you stream No Man's Sky? I could do, mate, I guess. You're not the only one to ask either. A couple of people have asked me to stream it. The only reason I'm a bit wary of streaming it, I don't know where I'm going to pick up from. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a long time since I've played it, like months. Where am I going to drop out? Then what do I do with all the new stuff all of a sudden? You know, I've got building mechanics. I don't know. It might be worth popping into. I'm not sure. Lance Hawk, what if when the Scorpio comes out, they give you all 360 games free to play? Wouldn't bother. And this is it. Again, I go back to right at the top of the show. I wouldn't give a fuck if they did. They could tell, yeah, here you are. Play them all. Thanks. Cheers. I'll look at it. I won't touch them for 2 minutes. And I kind of didn't finish the question I wanted to ask all you lot. And I know a few of you would have answered yes to this. But get this. And this goes back to, we're getting new tech. We're getting all these belly flops. I want new shit. That's why I'm spending this money on it. This is what I want. When was the last time that any of you in the room, and I know there'll be a couple, that actually fucking play an old backwards compatibility game from start to finish? And we'll be talking that fucking many. And that's what I can't understand. There'll only be some real hardcore retro fans that will relish all this. And I just don't get it. Shindo, that was the joke, weren't it? On Steam, that's where all the comments came from that time. You used to get, that's when they changed the forum comments, isn't it? You got people on the forums absolutely giving shit and giving it bad marks. And the gameplay time was 102 hours. And I think somebody picked up of it. How can you possibly come on this forum and call a game a piece of shit, but you've played it for 102 hours? Are you fucking real? John, and that's the point, mate, of any game. I honestly believe that No Man's Sky got butchered very unnecessarily. The press jumped on board and it turned into a fucking witch hunt. Sean did not deserve that one iota. That guy was so passionate about that game, he gave his fucking life up for 5 years, and I thought that guy got royally screwed and was completely out of order. Completely out of order. Was bullshit, in fact. That game was a viable, decent gameplay, and I didn't buy into this bullshit either. You've lied to us. Fuck off. No. I ain't A in it. It was a great game to play, and I'll stand by it now, guys, now. Ignore all the shit. If you pick No Man's Sky up now and you've never played it, I'll tell you now, you will not fail to have fun. It is fucking brilliant. It's great. That's it. Not many people do play the back-compatible games. And this is why I kind of touched on the kind of thing Microsoft are doing with the back-compat they have done, and this new thing. It's like, it feels like it's a lip service. You've not got anything to play right now, but here, we've got this to keep you fucking quiet. It's like when you give your kids a fucking colouring book back at car. We're going to get there soon. We don't know when, but here, this fucker will keep you quiet. I'll have to go back to... Don't say that, Shindy. You're going to make me pluck the fucker on then. I'll have to... I might stream it one night. I've got loads of requests, though, from people. By the way, I want to show you my... I didn't mention it on the Rambler today, and I fucking completely forgot. I bought a skin set for my VR, and I've got some really cool news that I'm not disclosing right now about the Elgato, that I know that I was discussing it about on the show today, but I'm just not going to say anything for now, but it will resume. And I've got a cool sticker skin set, but get this, dopey fucker, bought this beautiful... I can't get up. I'm in my fucking underwear. I know that might disturb you all, but it's fucking hot. I've got a t-shirt on and I'm in my underwear. So there you go. I don't want to alarm you. But I've bought a skin set for about £8 off one of these sites in the UK, and it's put like, picture my VR, it's got like a big red thing across there. It's got red all round it, and it's basically red like carbon fibre. Cost about £8, went on a piece of piss, but dozy twat didn't read the small print. And lo and behold, it's one of them, yes, it sticks on well, and it did go on well. I didn't have any fucking disasters that you normally do with these things. But you need to put a hairdryer on it. And guess what? I ain't got a fucking hairdryer. But hopefully I've stuck it down enough with my hand, and it's pretty cool. And I've also got something coming tomorrow, and I did this because of if I'm going to stream a bit of VR stuff where I have a camera, where you've got the plate across here, and I could get up and get it, but I can't be arsed. The plate across there, then you've got that white band that goes up there and then round there. You've all seen it when you've seen a VR. Well, I've bought a sticker set off eBay that's going to have Cranky Gamers UK on it and at toz6666's for my Twitter account. So it'll look pretty cool. Put it in the microwave. Now, what I might do, I might tell my daughter if she's popping up one day just to drop the hairdryer in a bag. I don't think I need it. Touch wood, I think it's hanging on fine. I'll show it you tomorrow probably. But it went on really well. And you could have got some cool ones. My underwear cost me £1 and 50p of them are up my... That's an old joke, but it's a good one, mate. I like that one. That's a very good old joke. 50p. Who said that joke? That's a famous fucking joke. Tell you what I have bought, by the way. Recommended by one of my listeners, and it's one of the best fucking things of all. It's in a little stick like that, and it's an anti-fog stick. And it's actually sold on Amazon to do snow goggles and swimming goggles. Because when you've got that VR on, when you're running about like a fucking imbecile on Farpoint and you're sweating like a fucking mental case, it steams up, as you heard me on the show. I kept having to stop because I couldn't see fuck all. Apparently, this little blue stick, and I keep pointing over there because it's over there, it's like a little blue stick, take it off, it's got like a dobber on it, rub it across the lens, run it across, and apparently it stops fogging. Not had a chance. It is, mate, I am Jim Royal. My wife used to call me Jim Royal, and I actually quite, with the beard now, my arse. It was Jim Royal, you're right saying that, 50p. That was the best programme. I had so much... That programme made me laugh so much, cheered me up no end it when I was in a really down fucking spot. Sad to think, isn't it, that two of them fuckers are dead now. And she was a genius as well, Carolina Haim, but she had some troubles, didn't she? She was fucking a genius comedian, by the way. And that programme was just totally one of the best programmes ever. Made you laugh, made you cry. You know when she got married? Can you remember the episode when she got married and she was still sat on the bathroom hour crying like a fucking baby hour? And then when the grandma died in the programme, Jesus fuck. Absolute classic programme. Never wanted that to finish, I really didn't. The royal family. That thing I've been watching, guys, I mentioned, and I fucking forgot to mention it on the show as well today. I'm watching a documentary I touched on. I really highly recommend you watch it. It's called The Trial. It's on, catch up on Channel 4. It's been on, yeah, they do, mate. That's why I'm a lunatic. Ba-bum. Just joking. So... The thing's called The Trial. It's been going on for 5 days. I think the last day's tonight, and I'll be watching it when I've done this stream. And I think I touched on it. When it started, the first episode, I thought it was real. There was like a police video going into a house where a woman had been strangled. She was found on the floor, and her estranged husband was accused of murder. And then it showed you him being into it. And I thought it was real. And then within about 2 minutes, it cuts to a synopsis, and a commentator comes on and says... You are about to watch a documentary over 5 nights where there has been a fictitious murder. And when they said that, I thought, well, you fuckers, you've totally destroyed this for me now. I'd sat there, cup of coffee, really excited. And I was literally within a second of going, fuck off, I can't be bothered. But I let it run, because what it said in the next sentence, it says, we have never been allowed to show you what happens in a real courtroom in Britain. However, the actors, the accused is an actor, all the characters, the witnesses are actors. However, the barrister for the prosecution, the barrister for the defence are proper professional barristers working today. The judge is a just retired proper Old Bailey judge. And the jurors are real 30 people they fetched in off the street, sat them down, drew them out of a hat to get 12 jury members. And every night they've been telling you this murder story. It's been fucking brilliant. And it's really cool to see, because the realism of it is the jury are acting it out real. They are watching a real case made up with evidence, with DNA evidence. And it's a great story about this murder as well, what supposedly happened. And it kind of makes you want to make your mind up. And I'm usually good at this shit. But we're on the last night tonight and I'm still edging. And I'm like kind of watching it and playing along as if I'm a jury member. But I'll tell you what scares me. And this is why you ought to watch it. It's really fucking good. Do you know the shit that some of them talk about in that jury room? I hope and pray that I never, ever, ever am in a situation where my life depends on 12 fucking members of the public deciding what's happening to my life. Because I'll tell you now, half of the fuckers have no clue. Have absolutely no fucking clue what they're doing. There's one of the jurors, I think I touched on this the other day, he literally looks about 12. And when they called his name out and he got up and went to sit down on the fucking bench, I looked at him and thought, I'm sorry, that person, if this was real life, that person, no way can have an effect on somebody's life. He's not old enough. He might be clever, but he's not old enough with life experience. And I just sat there and thought, you know, if you were doing me, I would be fucking scared to death. I'd be calling them guilty whether they did it or not. You see, and Jason, this is why I really urge you to all go and see it. It's called The Trial. If you go on to Catch Up 4, type into search, put The Trial, and now it's the last night tonight, so you'll be able to watch them all. They're an hour long, there's 5 episodes. Really fucking good. But you've just hit the nail on the head, Jason, with that one, because that's what makes it so good. You're watching real people from real walks of life talk about this case at the end of the... And I'm sitting there thinking, Jesus fucking hell. And what's cool, last night... Well, no, I won't spoil it. I won't spoil it because it's part of the thing. I'm going to make my decision tonight. I think I know what... And I think I'm right in saying that they've said on the show that when it finishes, they're going to tell you what really happened. So they're going to like... Obviously, people watching the programme have got their own choices and they've watched what we've watched. And you're going to make your own mind up. So I've got my ideas and I'm going to pick mine. And I think I'm not going to change my mind. And I'm really interested to see how it comes. But it's really fucking good television. It's nothing... Don't get me wrong, it's not dramatic at all. It's in like a real stale environment. It's in like a real courtroom. There's no public or anything like that. It's literally defence barrister, prosecution barrister, this right-hand men and all that bollocks. The accused is in the cage. All the witnesses come and the jury are sat there. It's really fucking good TV. Highly recommended. The Trial, it's called. Also started watching today, finally got to start My Lucky Man. Watched episode 1. Loved the first series. Thought it was some fantastic TV. I watched the first episode. It was cool. The story was okay. I'm not liking the fact that this fucking woman's turned up and she's got a bracelet on as well. I thought, why are you doing that? So at the minute, I'm kind of where you're going with this bullshit fucking thing. But people have told me on Twitter today that they've obviously seen it because it's weeks old and they said it's really good. So I'll stick with it because I did like that. I've also put in my planner Twin Peaks. Brand new series of Twin Peaks has started. And on Sky, they're giving you the first 4 episodes of the new series. The reason I'm into this, and this is... Oh, I've watched that before, Shindu. It's crazy. Would you honestly go on there as well? I wouldn't go on there if I got teamed up with fucking Kelly Brook. Well, I maybe would. But anyway... Twin Peaks, the reason I'm and it's funny this, I'm really skeptical, I'm not skeptical, I'm really a bit wary of actually sitting down and enjoying this, and I'll tell you why. The original Twin Peaks, I've never told this story, and I'm not going to go into detail. The original Twin Peaks, when it was on back in the day, I was living alone in my flat when I was about, I can't remember how old I'd be, early 20s I think, I can't remember exactly. But I had an event in my life with a woman that I've never talked about to anybody. Ever. Nobody have I ever spoke of about this. And that's all you're getting out of me. But what I'm going to say is, it was a period of time in my life. There was no mobile phones then. We never could fucking text or anything. We actually wrote letters to each other. Real fucking letters. And it was a time in my life that was an amazing time. And the reason that I associate it with Twin Peaks, we both got into Twin Peaks as different things. And it used to be a massive part of us, like, conversation. We used to write to each other, meet up and talk. And it was a great time. And I'm ever so wary of putting this new series on, because even when I saw the trailer, I got flooding of memories back, and I just sat there for like half an hour, just like in a daze, thinking, fucking hell. And it was a real weird moment, because it's the only thing I've never talked to anybody about, that part. But I do love the programme. The original programme was stunning. Crazy David Lynch mad shit. So where are they going to go with this thingy? 1993 then, so what's that then? 93, how far? Daughter was born 98, so that's 18 to 5. Oh no, I'd be a bit older. Fucking hell, I'd be about 28. That surprised me. Fuck. Oh my god, no, it's coming back now. Fucking hell. Because, I wish I could tell you the story, but you'd enjoy the story, I'm telling you now. You would enjoy the story. Because I'll tell you why. My first wife, she'd gone on holiday, and it was right before we was getting engaged. Or was it? I can't remember. Might be getting mixed up. But by the by, great time in my life it was. A crazy-ass story. I may tell you one day when I'm fucking on the Rambler, might churn it out. But, yeah. Twin Peaks brought a lot of fucking memories flooding back. It could be one for the Rambler, yeah, it could be. I will say what really, and this is the fun thing, right? Because I used to write to this woman. Well, without no secret, we had a bit of an affair going on. It was like one of these things that was totally crazy. Met her at a disco at the local village. Everything took off. She was in a really serious relationship. Like, I can't even tell you what was going off. And we just got together for like, it only lasted for a month, 2 months, but it was fucking crazy time. It really was. And we used to write to each other every day and talk about Twin Peaks. And the fucking funny thing, what I'm really pleased about, is the new episodes of Twin Peaks has got all the old characters in it. Because I used to have a thing about Lucy, the secretary. If you've never watched it, it doesn't appeal to you. But Lucy with the squeaky voice, I used to wind her up and say that I used to really fancy this Lucy, and that's all I was watching it for. And when I saw the clip the other day, and she was in it, I thought, well, fuck that, I'm watching it now no matter what. But it's certainly a weird programme. Very, very strange programme. And I'm really interested on where they go with the second episode. Pleased to see David Lynch is still in it. Craig, what's his face, all the original characters. Oh, mate, Blue Velvet, fucking Jesus. Wow. Do you know what, Jason? It's funny you should say that, mate. Because I actually went looking. And that's all I'm going to say. And you know I don't like Facebook. And I didn't find her. I couldn't find her. But it'd be interesting. I can see her face now as if she was stood here. It was a great time in my life, that was. One of probably the greatest things that ever happened. In fact, I would push to say probably one of the most happiest times I've ever been. Ever. Because the way it all happened and shit was just crazy. It was like something out of a fucking book. But I went looking, Jason, and I stopped. I stopped. I didn't want to do it. And I thought, no, fuck it, leave it. But great memories. Great fucking memories it was. I can see her face now, and I know her name and everything. I don't know her second name. That's where I'm fucked, you see. I've no clue of a second name. So I probably could never even find her anyway, so. I'll have no fucking drink. Can I get it without showing you my underwear? What happens in the Rambler stays in the Rambler. Very true. I don't know how you enjoyed the Rambler this week, guys. We were a bit weird on how we handled it. We can't remember what kind of shit we used to do. It's been that long. But yeah, I probably could. I'd like to actually. Thinking about it. I'd like to see. I'd like to see it. I would like to see what she's doing. I'll tell you the big thing about why it was. I'll tell you the big thing, and this is what's shocking about it. She was actually due to get married 5 weeks from when I met her. That's all I'm saying. Her wedding was planned 5 weeks, and it was like crazy time. So. What, the Rambler? Do you like it? I didn't think we didn't have any fun stories this week. We was obviously talking about the Manchester thing, and I was very wary of what kind of stuff we talked about, but I think we handled it okay, and we talked about one thing or another, and we steered off it. But yeah. Oh, for fuck's sake. My new colouring book, guys. I got the piss took out of me on things. Look, my new colouring book arrived today. I used to be a bit of a player, Shindu, back in the day. Yeah, I was accused of... we did... the show? Yeah, I thought it was all right. It was all right. I got the piss take out for this. I'm really pleased I bought this. This is a hardback one. The diagrams inside aren't as good as the others. But I'll tell you what's cool. You're never going to pick this up on here. You might do. That is a woman, and that all there where I've done, it's a tattoo. She's like got a body tattoo, and I've got to say it's come out fantastic. I'll take a picture and stick that on Twitter, because what I've done so far, I think it's come out fantastic. But anyway, if I ever met someone in that situation and she left him for me, I don't think I could ever trust her. You see, you're starting on an avenue that this is why it was so emotional and anything. Because we talked about her not getting married, I kept saying you can't do this, you can't do that, but all the time we were seeing each other like as often as we could. It was a crazy, like I said, when I said it was like a book, it was like fucking unbelievable. And it really was disco at the pub I used to go with my mates, and I'd never seen her before, and it was like literally one of the moments where I just looked at her there and it was like, bang. And I was shit at talking to women, I will tell you that now. I was awful. In my younger day, I fucking hated talking to women. I know you might find that quite alarming, because I can talk the fucking world to death. But yeah, I hated that whole... And that's what frightens me now, by the way. It does. That's what, when I get messages from friends and you guys that often talk and say, and Ricky talks about partnerships and shit like that, it scares me to death. Because I've not had to do anything like... I've not had to do anything like, you know, the old dark when we was in his 18, teenagers, 20s, you know, nightclub, bit of beer, fancied somebody, give them the eye, over you go, give it the yo-yo, and that's it. It was a chat-up shit. Well, my first wife, I knew her as a friend, married for 15-odd year. My second wife was my first girlfriend when I was fucking 20, so I knew her. The two major girlfriends I had, which didn't include the one I've just told you, they were younger, they were all in... This is the crazy shit, I think I might have told this story on the Rambler. My first wife, my second wife, my two main girlfriends, all in the same class at school. Go figure. How do you fucking work that out? All in the actual same class at secondary school. And this is what scares me now. If I was to suddenly start socialising and going out for a drink and stuff, I wouldn't have a fucking clue. Because I cannot tell you how long it was since I have even talked to the opposite sex on a kind of level where you try and be friendly. But I'll also say, and I say this on the fucking thing, by the way, said this on the show, there is nowhere around here for me to go. Me and my brother talked about this when we went for a drink the other month. because I'd obviously just not long been split up, and he was saying, you know, what you doing? And I said to him, I says, well, let me ask you a question. We both live round here. I says, you've been through it as well years ago. I says, what did you do? He says, do you know what, Jill? He says, you're spot on. He says, there's fucking nothing to do. I could sit here now and say, right, guys, fuck it. I'm going to get dolled up tomorrow. I'm getting my best togs on, washing my hair, getting a bit of fucking stuff on. Out the door I go. There is nowhere to go within a radius of about fucking 15 mile. Nowhere. Shit. And when I joke, by the way, to Ricky, unless somebody knocks on my door and falls at my feet, that's the only way I'll meet any person of the opposite sex. My dad's a City fan. He wanted us to win tonight for Man United. Yeah, I fell fucking asleep and all. Did it finish 2-0? Because I had a bit of a crazy bet. I had a few quid left in my account because it's the end of the season. And I had one of these, like, what's called rabs. And you have a load of criteria on the match. You were getting a share of the action. I had 5 corners each, both teams to score, and Man United to win. I think both teams haven't scored, have they? Did it finish 2-0? Is that how it finished? And it would have won me 50 quid if it came in. And I know when I checked the bet halfway through the second half, I think Ajax had only had 3 corners. Man United had only had 1. So I was basically needing Ajax to score, Ajax to get another 2 corners, and Man United to get another 4 in about 35 minutes. So unless it went into a corner fest and a fucking goal fest, I haven't won my bet. I do think that's going to be my last bet of the season as well. People have been asking me, have I been having any hackers? I've not had no luck for the last 2 weeks. It's been shit this week. Although I got close on the last day of the Premier League fixtures. I think Southampton let me down for 71 quid. So yeah, what did the match finish at? I bet one of you is going to tell me it finished 2-0, aren't you? And please, Man U won. And I don't buy into this, and I don't mean this in a really bad way. But I've got to try and rephrase this, and especially the commentators kept going on, oh, we're doing it for Manchester, we're doing it for this, that, and the other. And I fucking hate that kind of thing, I really do. You know, it just grinds me. $2-0, fuck it. We all need to meet up for a cranky Christmas and pull some hotties. How many... Right, let me put something to you, Shindo. Let's say we announce, let's get together in fucking, I know a couple of places around here. I rent a room for a night, get a bar, get some food on. Everybody's welcome. There's a Premier Inn not 5 minutes away, so if you want to stay somewhere, there's a Premier Inn. You could have a right good fucking couple of days. How many females do you think would turn up? I'll put that one to you. There'll be a load of fat, sweaty gamers, and probably like 2 women turn up. No more hackers. I don't think so. I mean, I'm trying to think. I did used to bet on the baseball and the ice hockey. But, yeah, 0, Neil. You fucking got it, mate. A big fat 0. Although I think Kirsty'd probably turn up. Kirsty's all right. But, yeah, it'd be... Mate, we'd have a room full of fucking... We'd have a room full of sweaty, fat gamers. That's why we bring prostitutes. Oh, God. That would be a laugh, wouldn't it? Rent a room, a load of them. I thought you could give me some tips. American football, when that starts in October, I'll be betting on that. Definitely. But that coincides with our football season again, don't it? I actually made a profit this year. Did a bit of totting up, as you guys know. I think my wins this year, as I used to say to you, the way I used to bet, I used to have 3 hackers every Saturday for the football. £5. I used to have a £2 win hacker, 7 or 8 teams to win. £2 both teams to score, 7, 8 teams again. And then 1 either over 2.5 goals in the games, 7, 8 teams, or actual goal scorers. So that's what I used to do every weekend. And in the weeks for the last 4 months, I've gone 200, 212, 227, 170, 142, 140, 50. I then won 256 on the bingo. Because when I had a win of around, I think I had a win of about 148 on the Saturday. I put 140 in the bank straight away, which I always do. That left me with £8. So I sat up, couldn't sleep, went on to the bingo on Bet365, and then, as I was watching the fucking telly, I won the full ass £256. So I'm like sat there going, a big thing popped up. It happens ever so fast. It's all automatic. You buy your tickets. You literally, at the start of every game, 5 tickets, 50 pence. Click yes, you leave it. The game plays automatically. Ticks every box. When the game, it comes up, it says, so-and-so's won £5 for a line, next bit. So-and-so's won £10 for 2 lines. And then it goes, so-and-so's won whatever, full ass. So I'm sat watching the TV in the background, just checking it, looking. When you see the window pop up, you have a look, see who's won. I'm sat there watching the fucking telly, full ass pops up and it says, toz66 wins £256. I was like, oh, okay, that'll do. But crazy. Probably cheaper. How many crankies do we have in the Midlands? I'd imagine we'd have enough for... I can tell you now we have a lot. We have quite a lot. I can tell you now there's been 5 people come here for a visit that live locally. Kirsty, let me just try and do it. There's Kirsty, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people have been here. We asked that question on the Rambler, didn't we? If you haven't listened to a Rambler, we asked a really good question. It was one of the best shows, actually. Ricky had us all in tears that day. I don't think I could, mate. No, and I said this. I've mentioned this to my brother as well. Don't think I ever could. And I think I said this when me and my brother were having a beer on the same kind of subject. I wouldn't know what to do. And without getting into too intimate details, I mean, sex is sex, isn't it? You do it with somebody that you more than likely fell in love with, or it's whatever. I don't think I actually could do it. I really don't. Tamworth, you see, we've got another local. That's pretty close. But yeah, honestly, I mean, let me ask you guys. I mean, obviously, 99% of you are probably married, got girlfriends and shit. I mean, could you do it? Let's say you put yourself in my shoes now, and I'll admit this, I don't give a fuck, you know me, I'm honest down the line. I've not slept with anybody for over 2.5 years. I think it's 2.5 years now. What are we in? June? Nearly June. So put yourself in my position. There's nowhere to go. Could you honestly do it? Nah. I mean, some of you may have done, which is fucking... depends if Mrs. lets me. Let's pretend you're not married. Put yourself in my shoes. And you actually... Could you physically now go out and do it? It wouldn't seem right to me. I don't know. I think I'd be shitting myself. I'm married, so those that can't pay him for it, such a bank. I mean, I honestly don't think I could. I know you. Listen, I'm going to tell you now. You're all here. Look, yeah, I've got to go for it. Yeah, let's go for it. I'll tell you now. I think you'd all shit yourself. I honestly do. Because it just, to me, picture the scenario. It wouldn't feel right, would it? You know, you meet up. Do you go for a drink? Do you fucking what's it? Is it like ordering a Chinese fucking meal? I'll have number 22, duck. And how much is number 20? I'll have a bit of 23 and all. And why? You had to stick number 5 on as well. You know what I mean? What the fuck do you do? Oh, I did have sex the day I met my girlfriend, and I was the middle of the day. Well, I could tell you some stories, guys. I could. Fun stories, crazy stories. Madness. Paying for a stripper, paying for a prostitute, hell no. Yeah, it's a different thing, innit? It's not... I mean, what's the difference, like you've mentioned, what's the difference between an escort and a proper prostitute? Can you pay for one to come to your house? Does an escort? Do you go out for a meal? Do you go? Do you go out for a pot? I mean, what the fuck? No. I mean, it's just something. It's not something that most of us lot in everyday walk of life would even experience. I have only ever, and this is God's honest truth, and I think I mentioned this on the Rambler show at the time. I have only ever seen 2 actual prostitutes in my life on the street. One driving by when my mate drove round to show me, because he lived in an area in Sheffield, up near the student nurse parts in Sheffield. And it's like, he says, "Oh, I've got something to show you, mate, my crazy best mate." "Oh, I've got to show you." I says, "What?" He says, "I've got to show you something." When he drove around these 2 streets, and they were like fucking lined up. And he started to slow down. I says, "Don't you fucking slow down." He says, "Why?" I says, "Because they'll be fucking in." He says, and he were all for it. He says, "Shall we?" I says, I says, "No way. We're only about 20 and all." And the only other one I did when we were looking, I think I was buying an item out of a fucking local paper up Nottingham. Up the really worst part of Nottingham. And that was like, they were everywhere. Jesus, it was a crazy thing that was. And let me tell you, in Nottingham, it was like the middle of the fucking day. It was like, and Mr. fucking Innocent, was sat in a car, and we actually stopped to ask one of these women directions. And then we drove off, and my mate says, "Do you know something?" I says, "What?" He says, "I think that were a prostitute." I says, "Fuck off." And then we both of us dawned. We like looking round, and the streets were lined with all these women dressed up to the fucking bollocks. And it were like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're like, and it dawned on us then. I says, "Get the fuck out of here quick." Tryadultworks.com. I have looked on there. I never get that site, to be honest. But again, it goes back to, what do you do? Someone like... So, okay, Michael, let's touch on this. So what do they do? Now, do these do... I mean, we've all seen a fucking... Yeah, of course they did. We've all seen the cam sites. All you guys that look at porn, the cam sites are the big fucking thing now, aren't they? That's one of the best sites I ever found when I was first married, when I was about 25. I agree, mate. Honestly, honest to Christ, there's a few countries in the world, Holland, Australia, some parts of America, I really believe it should be legalised, because these places... yeah, but campsites are okay for watching. I can tell you that from experience. But the point is, prostitution should be legalised when it's done properly, when it showed you a documentary in Holland and Australia, and it literally shows you that the sex rate for the area, sex crime, is down like massively. And if it's handled correctly, I think it should be legal. It's a product, isn't it? It's a product. And I have no problem with the women doing it either way. I'm not one of these funny fuckers that says, "Oh my God, depravity, and what are you doing?" One prostitute offered me a chew down the alley for 50 quid in Berlin. That is brilliant how you put that. Fucking 50 quid, a lot of money, ain't it? Do you know what I mean? What are the going rates? Again, because I'm tight as a duck's arse, that to me is extortion. And I'll tell you now, it's a crazy fucking subject we've got, and we'll have 10 minutes, and I'm going to get off some coffee and watch some TV. Like, would you not feel, and this is me, right? This is me. Mate, I can tell you, desperation is high. This is me, okay? Like, 50 quid, I couldn't help in my mind, because this is just me, I would be constantly thinking who she's been with, or how many... Because I've already told you guys, I'm a very faithful person. I've never been unfaithful to a girlfriend ever in my life, or a partner. So to me, in my mind, I would be constantly looking at this person thinking, what, who you've been like, and you just, to me, and that's why I say I couldn't do it, I don't think, honestly. It's crazy though, isn't it? I have no problem with them doing it. Women are expensive. Are an expensive consideration. Hell, they're more expensive when you fucking live with them. That's the big point. You know that. I haven't, mate. I've never paid. I'll be honest. I'm a male. I'm a fucking man, and I'm always open. And if anybody who tells you don't watch porn, they're a fucking liar. When I was about 25, get your face computers. We've all fucking been there. The only site I've ever looked at, it's the best one yet. It's called myfreecams.com. And I just look, for want of a better word. I never get when they pay for these tokens. I tell you what does actually always interest me though, because I've been watching this site since I was 25. That to me, I always think these people that pay, and some of the things they're saying to them, and I just sit back again and think, you fucking idiot. Like they talk to them like they're the best friend. You know, you've got these sad, silly fucks on there. It goes for the channel, you know, on the channels on Sky, the fucking Babe Station things. I sometimes see them on Twitter, and they're like talking to these girls that's on the screen, as if they're fucking, like, in love with them. Oh, I'll call you tonight, love. I'll be... And I'm sat there thinking, you stupid, sad fuck. Like, they don't give a shit about you. You're paying £2 a minute to pay their wages, and believe me, they don't give a shit. But one thing that's always interested me about My Free Cams, because that site's right. If you go on it now, if you've never heard of it, I'm going to do you a great big favour. It's one of the fucking really good sites there is. Myfreecams.com. And the point is I want to know what cut these women get, because the site obviously take a cut, because you buy a token, you buy a set of tokens. I've never done it, not even signed up on it, not even on there. And that's what makes this good. You can look and never have to sign up. So I think they buy tokens, and then these women like have boards up and say, top off for 50 tokens, naked for 100 tokens, and these guys are throwing fucking money at them. I'd like to know what percentage these token value is, because they're always in like 50 tokens or 100. And I've seen people on there, by the way, in times watching it, I've seen folks chuck like fucking 5,000 tokens at these women. And I got a feeling, I'm always trying to work it out in my brain what the monetary value is. And I think it breaks down to like pounds. So I think something like 100 tokens, I think is going to be £1. And on with that, like 200 tokens is £2. I'd love to know what kind of cost is and what kind of money they're making. Because there's a couple of girls on there that are really highly rated. One of them, by the way, is the most fucking stunning woman I think I've ever seen in my life. She's on every fucking day. Apparently, if you Google her, and she earns 30 grand a month from this site. She earns. It's like a fucking old new YouTube. 30 grand a month she earns. Chatterbait. I don't like Chatterbait. There's too many weirdos on there. I will tell you, and I don't know why we're getting to porn. We're all men of the night. On your Cody box, there's a fantastic... the Cody box is a better place for porn than your PC. We need names for research purposes. Oh, are you on the site? What's the name? What's the name? Fucking hell. Oh my God. She's on every day. She's phenomenal. What's her fucking name? It'll come to me. Let me think. Yeah, totally for research purposes, but mfc.com. I'm not on the site means leaving the stream. Well, you'll go to it when we've done. Her name is... What's her fucking name? I can see her face now. She earns a number... Well, when you see her, you'll know why she earns 30 grand a fucking month. This stream isn't getting monetized. No way. Oh, what's her name? Fuck. I think she's from Croatia as well. You get a lot of them from Russia and Croatia. There's fucking loads of them from that part. Her name is... Not booting up. Mate, you don't get viruses from that place. It's like really above board. It's one of the highest rated sites in the fucking world, MFC. You just type MFC into Google. and then thank me after when you've found it. What's the name? Fucking hell. If I find it, I'll talk again in another stream. Yeah, it's all above board, Jason. It really is. It's like legit. It's like one of the biggest sites on. It's like a YouPorn site. It's like the biggest thing out. What's the name? It's gonna fucking bug me now. There's about 3 or 4 on there that you can tell that they're like the top earners. They're on every day, and and what it does, it gives you the number of people in their room. Because when you go on it, it's a massive page of just tiny little TVs, and that's their room. And when you click it, you go to their room with their chat, and it tells you how many people are in the room, and they get rated, I think. They get a ratings thing. And it's fucking little. I think one's called Nikki, Nikki. She's one of the popular ones that's always on the top. But this fucking woman, I can't remember her name. Yeah, they do, mate. MFC are in. Honestly, I think because I have, like you say, research purposes. I think MFC they're one of the biggest earning websites as well. Yeah, I know. That's another great point, Jason. These men are chucking tokens at these women. I'll tell you what makes me laugh, and I'll tell you this, and this is, again, men of the world. I'll be straight down the line. Most of you will go and look at this site because you won't help yourself. And believe me, it's a cracking site if you're a man. You'll go and pick some of these models that you see, and some of them are really, really attractive. Some of them are really fucking rough as well. But some are really beautiful women. And then you get these people in these rooms saying, we want to go private. We want to go on Skype. And it's like 3,000 things for Skype because they want to see them with the clothes off. You've only got to type their name into Google. Any one of them on that page, type their name into Google, you get free shit. They're all over it. It's that big a site. It's a massive site. But anyway, I am a lonely man of the world. But I have been on that site since I was about 25. Can't even remember how I found it. I think it was just basically scanning as you do when you live on your fucking own. But at the time when I found it, because you guys must remember back in the day, you went looking for porn online, and like you've said, fucking viruses galore and pages popping up everywhere. But this one was totally legit. But apparently it's one of the biggest earners online, and whoever owns, I think I once read it's a couple of Russian men that own it. Oh, mate, that's the point. That's the thing I was just telling you earlier. It is so crazy what some of these people are talking. I mean, let's be honest. You take it for what it is. The woman's letting you look at her body. She's getting paid for it. Well done. No problem with that. Do what you want. But when they're fucking talking to them like they think they're in love with them. Oh, I'll see you tomorrow night, babe. I'll have tokens ready. Like, what are you doing, you prick? I used to get exams through it, only one that worked on my BlackBerry. I will say MFC works brilliant on your iPad because they've got a mobile site and it's better than the normal site. What a subject we're finishing with tonight, porn. I might delete this actually for tomorrow. It's not a good subject, is it, to be on a stream? In fact, I actually will. I think I'll delete this one tonight. We've had a good chat about it. It's not something you want to stay up there. But yeah, I think I might delete this one, and we'll play some fishing tomorrow. We will. It's so hot in here and all the bastard windows are open. And I hate going to bed, by the way. Getting back to normal subjects. I hate going to bed leaving the windows open. Cranky Porn Chronicles. I want to remember her name. It's pissing me off, and I want you all to go and look, and you'll say, oh yeah, I get you now. And her name is... It's going to come to me. It is... Oh, fuck. Oh, God, it's just come and gone. I haven't got... Oh, my fan's in my cupboard. I was going to get it out here, but I am actually going to get it out now. But the thing about my fan, it's holding about 90 boxes up. So when I go in that cupboard and pull that fan out, I need to clean that cupboard out behind me. It's pissing me off, actually. Even me, that's not a massive clean freak, but I want that cupboard cleaning out. But you know, everything I buy, and I'm not one... Oh, it's rhyme night tomorrow, innit? Yeah, I won't play fishing tomorrow. We'll have rhyme tomorrow because a lot of people want to A couple of people have messaged me tonight they were going to buy it. Yeah, well remembered. When I come on tomorrow night, remind me to play Rhyme, even if I've started a different game. So just remember, because that game, you guys need to look at it, because it's fucking brilliant. Make a brilliant stream game. It's kind of more puzzly, a bit of a cross between Little Nightmares and the human falling thing. Not that type, but brilliant it looks. I'd like to go to a knocking shop and then just get massage. They'll be offering the service. Yeah, funny thing, Jason, this is as well, touching on that subject. I have actually come close to going to a place for a massage, in all seriousness, because of my back. But I actually then was like, and funny story, in our local town about 2 miles away, there was actually a massage parlour opened. All above board, proper like chiropractor fucking massage shit. That's where I was going to go. I think the board on the thing was something like £15 for half an hour, and I was really going to do it because my back's fucking agony for me. And I literally was going to do it. And the week before I was going to go, the story in the local paper, they got raided, and it was a proper thing, like you say. Yes, they did legitimate massages, but they were offering all the extras on the side, and they got fucking done. Got shut down. I'm actually brilliant. I used to do it to my my missus massage. I'm quite good at that because I've got big fucking hands on her. And I don't mean in a perverted way either. I mean in an actual relaxing way, because she used to be on her feet a lot. That used to be good. But anyway. Right, I'm going to call it a night, guys. We've talked about some subjects tonight, so I am going to delete this one, though. We can't have porn and MFC on here. It's just not the done thing. We're not lowering it to that standard. But I really want to remember that. I ought to get that thing up and try and find that girl, didn't I, so I can satisfy your lot's needs. Her name is, I can see her face, I can see her white t-shirt. She sits on the bed, same place, every time she's on. And her name is... You do know I'll remember it as soon as I switch this fucker off, don't you? And I won't post it on Twitter. Right, guys, I'm going to go. I really appreciate it, because it's been a really solid room tonight all the way through. I don't know why you listen to me talk shit. I know the gaming chat's really cool, and I do like having discussions and debates, whether they either way or strong debates. I like it. You know that. That's what I've always done, so send me a tweet. If you want a private tweet, I'll DM you. Am I following you on Twitter? Send me a message on Twitter and I'll make sure I'm following you and I'll find it for you, because I know that you're intrigued. Just for research's sake, I know. So I'll find it for you. And I want you to reply to me, because I can tell you now, you'll reply and go, holy fuck, will be the word probably. Right, I'll try and find out for you. I'll do your research and I'll send you, I might even send you the direct link to a page. But you will thank me. Yeah, you do need to do for research. I understand fully, it's only for research. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get off because I'm dying for a drink. My mouth's like Gandhi's flip-flop. We will come back tomorrow with Rhyme. We're going to play some Rhyme tomorrow, and we're going to do some fishing. I can't wait to play... I've not seen her on Pornhub. Ask for 20 tokens per tweet. I've not seen her on there, I must admit. She has got a few videos flying about on Google, though, but not many. But anyway, I digress. I'm off. I want a drink. I'm red hot, and I need to get my fan out my cupboard. Speak to you tomorrow night, guys. I'll try and get on a bit earlier tomorrow so we can have a decent stream. So thank you again, boys. Thanks for watching. I am deleting this one, so don't go looking for it. So I'll speak to you tomorrow night. Don't forget the Rambler Show has gone live today. Don't forget liking... Oh, I'm going to say like this video. You can't like this video because it's going. But anyway, thanks a lot. Speak to you tomorrow, guys. Good night.